没有走完的路不会是终点，故事的走向是自己选择的坚持。
这个故事的开头还算不错，相信过程，相信自己走过的路。
那些最激动人心的冒险，从来不是单枪匹马的挑战。
과거는 잊으세요. 내일이 새로운 시작입니다. 내 경기가 새로운 도전입니다.
我们愿意为胜利付出许多代价，改变只是其中之一。
어떤 사람이든 현재에 만족하지 않고 어떠한 사람이든 제자리 걸음을 하지 않는다.
过去的荣耀就存留在记忆中，这一抹红色要照亮未来。
为之付出的心血越多，收获的果实才越甘甜。
赛场上的事怎能尽如人意？我只想追求无愧于心。
保持微笑，胜利总会专顾你。
在尝过赢得一切的滋味之后，你绝对不会甘心做第二名。
尖矛和利刃是勇者的武器，也有最坚硬的盾和扬起风帆的大旗。
如果翻不过这座山， 他们就听不到你的故事。
这个故事的结局将由我们来谱写。为了无悔，为了胜利，为了站在世界这边。
Invictus Gaming make their return to the English broadcast of the LPL. Last time we got to see them was 2 weeks ago, but they have been knocking out people left and right here in the LPL, but now we get to finally see them. Why? The Shy leads the way into the practice room. It's been rumored that today is the day that he is going to start.
What is that?
But Suning, on the other hand, they are prepared for the Hulk that they need to take down in the top lane. Because it's not the Shy in game one, it will be Duke. We'll get a chance to look at that in just a moment. As welcome back, everyone. My name is Dom. We've got Clement here with us. Again, we would like to apologize for the delay between the LGD and JD Gaming series. We'll keep you updated as to how that's going on with live updates. And of course, once the series resumes, you will provide plenty of information as to how that's going on. But IG versus Suning is finally here. We finally get the chance to see IG once again. We are so excited to see how this team has been doing because they have still been taking names left and right.
They really haven't seen them for quite a while. I was just hoping that it was the coach, like, drawing the Hulk right there with that serious face.
Yeah. You need to be worried about this. Allow me to draw it for you.
It's a great way of explaining things to your players, by the way.
Yes. This is the Shy. Do not let him do this and Hulk out.
Yeah, but back to Invictus Gaming, of course. We haven't seen them for quite a while.
Yeah.
And the big thing about it is we haven't seen the Shy. Now, to catch everyone back to date, he did break his hand or injure his hand in some form of fashion, did not play in the playoffs at all.
Yeah.
And because of that, RNG were the representatives of LPL to go to MSI. Now he's back. He's back to go back to the history that they were creating. Second most winningest team in the entirety of the LPL with an 88% win rate, I believe, for the spring split.
They missed the record by one single game. And it must be said that one of those games that they lost was against Suning, and I believe it was week 9. So could be a chance to get some revenge for IG. You took away our record. Well, now we'll just take away everything you possibly own because this meta absolutely favors Invictus Gaming's playstyle with lane control and lane dominance. But that's to get a little bit more into the actual matchup itself. Suning Gaming, on the other hand, they just lost the e-commerce war against JD just a few days ago. We saw a pop-off performance from Fen. It did go to 3 games, but ultimately it wasn't enough.
Yeah, the big story about Suning Gaming is the loss of their mid laner, their star player in Knight, has not shown up since day one, still in contract disputes with this is what the team organization has said. But in the meantime, Fen has actually been showing up and doing quite well because we expected this guy to be a cast in one trick, to have really nothing up his sleeves, but he's found his place on the team. Suning are a more experimental team. They do play the support, the gold funding strategy in the mid lane, and they have also put him on the Aurelia. Now, Aurelia is his second best, I would say his best champion currently so far in the meta, and they do snowball with him and Hacker quite sufficiently as well. So he's doing his job, and he's breaking everyone's expectations.
Yeah, it's doing some work for them. Of course, Invictus Gaming, though, we did the checkup now on Suning, what just happened to them. Let's actually catch you up real quick on what happened with Invictus Gaming over the past 2 weeks. Again, last time we saw them was Monday 2 weeks ago, but here in the LPL, they've still been playing crazy. The Shy has not been seen at all yet. That being said, IG are still phenomenal. Jackie Love, 23.7 CSD at 15, Rookie, 20, and Ning is the jungler of all junglers right now.
And those are absolutely monster numbers. Just to make sense of all of this, they're currently sitting at 3rd place respectively for mid and for ADCs in terms of their CSD. Of course, Uzi is still up there, iBoy is still up there, but they've been putting up massive numbers. And the more important thing is that they've been actually sticking to Jackie Love as kind of the center of their compositions. We've been seeing a lot of Lulus coming out from Rookie, and then Jackie Love sticking solely to Marksman and trying to push his advantages.
Yeah, we've also seen some very creative compositions built around Jackie Love. Like you said, the Lulu, but also Jackie Love gets the chance to play his carry. He played the Pike Draven bottom lane, the Bounty bottom lane, which is an extra 600 gold per kill. Massive performance that we also saw that. And again, they did the same thing in Game 1 with Lucian and Pike. So we're seeing Invictus Gaming seemingly fully embrace the lane dominance that they embodied in the spring split.
And that's the real difference when you put Duke on the roster in terms of the Shy. The bot lane can now be the aggressive side of the map. You never wanted to play 2 sides of the map at the same time, but with Duke playing on more of the pressure absorption, you can't go full in onto the bot lane. They've retooled Ning to go down there more often, and Jackie Love is having the time of his life. Going back to his main champion that made him famous in the Draven, and just playing laning aggressive. This is what we want to see from this guy. Like, he wasn't able to do that back in Spring Split because the jungler was always in the top side of the map. Like, he got no help at all. He was the most ganked player, most ganked lane of any lane in the entirety of the LPL. He finally gets a chance to breathe and show his skill.
Yeah, and it absolutely is working out for them again. They've still been playing primarily Marksman. As we talked about earlier today, Marksmen are still alive and well in the LPL if you are one of the top 4 names. Luckily for IG, they've got Jackie Love. They are one of the top 4 names right now. And to talk a little bit more about the rest of the team and how that plays around that, we have to now get to the top lane and how the top lane is able to play around this side of the map. Duke has been playing in every single game for Invictus Gaming yet. We have not seen the Shy. Today is supposed to be his grand return, but he's not playing in Game 1. But Duke has been playing carries in the top lane, which is, you've got the Shy, one of the greatest mechanical players in the world, and he says he's ready to play, but you're playing Duke on a carry?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about it. I think he's playing more lane counters, but he's not really having a fun time in doing it. He actually has a negative score in terms of the goal differential in the top lane. He's being camped a lot, but that's okay. He's drawing away the pressure. He might die a couple times here and there. All they need him for is really the team fights and the teleports, and the bot lane can go wild and win the lane through there. Speaking of the other parts of the map, I think Rookie still deserves a great mention. He was our MVP in spring, and he's still popping off this split as well. He's doing massive damage, actually more than Jackie Love. I did say that he was playing the Lulu a lot, but the small caveat is that he's not going for the Athenes. He's not going for Ardent Sensor at all. He's going for Ludens into Banshees. So he's a kill you type of Lulu, basically. So he's having a great time, and I think he's found a very good spot for himself in terms of the meta, because he's running the Lulu into a lot of bruiser type of champions. When people go for the Yasuo, when they're going for the Aurelia, he's willing to just say, okay, I'm coming for the Lulu. When you come in, I have the reaction speed before you land those stuns to just turn you into a cupcake and walk away scot-free. So he's having a great time on a pick he's found for himself.
Yeah, and of course, with all of these players challenging on the far side, they now have to challenge against the best of the Rift in the LPL. You'll note we don't have any IG players. It's Let Me in the top lane for RNG, who put up massive numbers in week 2 here of the LPL.
Yeah, really hitting a stride after MSI. Coming back, everyone's saying he's the best blue-collar top laner we currently have. Doesn't even lose lane that much anymore, and still kept his strengths on his signature champion in the Horn.
Massive damage percent and massive damage taken per death. Look at that, 30,000 damage taken per death. This guy is a monster. The jungler, though, we're actually going to be giving to Clid out of JD Gaming. He's currently trying to take on LGD out of Hangzhou. We'll be giving you live updates as to that series as to how it goes, but 5.43 KDA, massive wards killed. by controlling the enemy jungle. That's how you set up your carry laners to start to snowball.
He has always been known for playing around Vision incredibly well, and the other stat I would tag on here is that he is still the first blood king of the LPL. 84%, ladies and gentlemen. He will secure you that early game.
And of course, his former teammate Doinby of Rogue Warriors. He actually takes our best of the Rift in week 2. CS per 20, CS at 20, 210. Damage taken per death, 33,000. You thought the tank top lane was taking a lot? Well, how about a Kled mid lane? How about an Aatrox mid lane? And while that's happening, he's also doing the 3rd highest damage per minute.
He's been the engine for his team. He's going in and winning all of the MVPs. He's initiating for the team, and he's actually coming out of the mid lane ahead, even against mages.
And of course, iBoy, what else is there to say? This is the prodigy that has joined Edward Gaming.
Look at the funneling.
Yeah, massive gold. 3rd highest at 24.6. And almost single-handedly winning his game last night against WE in Game 2 on that Lucian.
There's 5 members on a team, but he's taking a 1/3 of the CS. So you can see how where EDG is placing their trust.
Absolutely putting all of that onto iBoy to play around that primary carry. The support of the league, though, it's Ming. True support. And massive wards placed, massive engagements. This guy is all about setting up and playing for his team. The protection stat should be significantly higher, I feel like, because all he has to do is keep Uzi alive. And he does more than that. He doesn't just keep Uzi alive. He sets up the engages. He sets up the flanks. He sets up the fights. He does everything.
Yeah, at the end of the split, the best support is going to be between him and Mako, and both of them are putting up such amazing plays. I just love watching these guys play right now. You talk about the Alistar, the Gragas, the Tom Kench from all of them, and it's just fun. It's just fun because Ming has always been under that Mako shadow. He's been under there for a long time. He was kind of known as Uzi's queen, the guy that just flashes in front of him and takes the arrow to the face just to make sure the carry stays alive. But he's actually doing a good job in making art out of that scene. So
exactly.
Great to see him develop.
It certainly is. Of course, now getting back to the matchup that we have on hand, Invictus Gaming versus Suning. We didn't see any of those players on our Best of the Rift for today, so hopefully we'll get a chance to see these players on Best of the Week for Week 3, because again, Invictus Gaming, they're still heavy favorites as we come into this split.
Both of them are great early game teams. They're actually number 1 and number 2 in terms of their early game statistics. What I really want to see in this match is how does Suning's jungle hold up to IG's advances? Because right now, Ning and IG are taking 60.9% of all jungle CS. That's an incredibly stark contrast right here, and I think it's aided because of the meta. You can push into the scuttle more often if you have winning lanes. So that's going to be the key for Suning to stay alive.
And this is where we get to put on our tinfoil hat theory once again, where we start to wonder, all right, the spring split, Invictus Gaming were a strong lane-centric team. They were able to snowball off of having some of the strongest solo lanes in the entire league and just win the game before having to worry about team play. Well, now the meta shifts even further in that direction, where strong lanes translate into strong jungle. And as you said, Scuttle Crab has been more important than it has ever been, and Ning is absolutely thriving as a result of his strong laners.
Yep, definitely. This is the meta well suited for IG. You can see their players already standing here.
Paolan and Jackie Love getting ready with a smile and a laugh as they take on Suning. Xiao Al, Hacker, Fen, Fury, and Yoon coming out of the Suning roster for this game.
And on the other side, Invictus Gaming, Duke, Ning, Rookie, Jackie Love, and Baolan. Jackie Love is the one I want to see go off on this game. Fury has been known for playing a lot of things like Kennen, a bit more untraditional, so the bot lane's going to be spicy.
It absolutely is. We'll see what that draft is going to be and how it works out for Invictus Gaming as we get ready for this. But Clement, I got to know, what's your take? Invictus Gaming, are they still super hot fire? Are they still just #1 in the league hands down? Or will Suning be able to put a dent in them?
I don't think so. I'm going to go all the way IG. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. It's going to be 2-0. I think if Duke even wins, like really hard in game 1, they might not even bring the Shy on. They have said on Weibo that they're going to bring the Shy, but if it goes all well, he might not even need to step into the seat.
All right. Well, now we've heard it from the analyst himself. We're ready to get into this game between IG and Suning. As we said, though, as we go, though, let's hear what Ning thinks about this matchup.
苏宁的话，我觉得他们现在势头很强，然后战绩很好，然后可能就是说，目前开赛以来就是说最强势的一支就是队伍吧。然后，打他们的话，可能说就是要 就是更谨慎一点，然后让自己失误更少一点才会赢下来。就是他们下路和上路就是变得就是他们现在就是在 LPL 比较强，然后所以就是他们现在成绩会非常好。然后如果我们下路跟上路不输他们的话，我觉得我们应该会。之前我记得我好像也说过，我说一个队伍强的话，他打野也会跟着强。
Ning, they're very aware of the strengths from Suning Gaming. Now, Frosk, hold on for a second, because welcome to the caster desk. My name's Pulse, this is Frosk. Now, Frosk, what is your 2 cents on what Ning just said?
I'm going to call a little bit of BS on Ning. I think he's just being a little bit flowery around his language, because if you take a look at Suning's record, the last 2 matches they have lost, and the only teams that they have beaten have been bottom 3 teams. This is Vici, LGD, and BLG. So, frankly, I know that we talk a lot about Suning. We're especially very engaged in their top laner, Shao. I think he's going to be a superstar of the LPL one day, and he's good, but he's not amazing just yet. But to go on to say that Suning have all of this momentum behind them, that they're one of the strongest teams in the LPL, they will be the next generation of the LPL, and this could be the opportunity to turn that page and start that chapter. But as far as Ning's concerned, they're not there yet, Ning. Like, come on, where's the confidence? You're Invictus Gaming.
I mean, let's be honest, Ning is a bit of a humble guy, to be honest, from what I've learned from Ning over the last year or so. But no, I absolutely agree with him, though, in the sense that, like, there is the potential, right? We've seen out from the top lane from Shao, we've seen it in the bottom lane. Fury's shown the propensity to fully embrace this meta, move towards something like a Swain, and actually do a damn good job at it at the end of the day. And then you look at Fenfin in the mid lane, the eternal one trick goes from Kasten, moves to Aurelia, so there's very easy ways to break them down, but from what we've seen so far, there has been glimmers of hope.
And if you haven't seen Suning Gaming play just yet, all 3 of those players on your screen were Shao, Al, Hacker, and Fenfin. You need to understand that it is very much about the top side of their map, even though Ning just gave compliments to the bottom side in Fury and Yoon, who are their Korean imports and still a very stable duo from the LCK.
100%. And as we get into this champion select, really need to pay attention to what do Invictus Gaming do about that mid lane, because I'll tell you what, Frost, Fen has gotten access to Aurelia too many times. So either they have a counter through Rookie or they take it away. And
we're going to roll the dice and see what's going to happen here. Clement said on the desk that Fenfin's best champion is Aurelia, and I'm going to go one step farther. Aurelia is his only champion. Fenfin was benched for Knight, their former star mid laner, because he only played one champion. He is a one-trick. Formerly it was Kassadin, this split it's Aurelia, and if he's not on that champion, it really isn't finding the same success. And even when he is on Aurelia, they lost their 2 last series.
All right, let's recap what the bans have been. So it's going to be a Zoe, Camille, and Lulu out from Suning Gaming. Invictus Gaming will take away the Vladimir, the Swain, and the Taric with a first pick of the Nocturne to Suning.
And all 3 of those bans, do not be confused, they are all leveraged at Fury and Yoon. And again, as the analyst desk was saying, Invictus Gaming have been playing towards the 8.8 meta. It's still very much around the 80 seed for them, despite going to 8-11. So this is probably the most 8-11 thing we've seen from IG. We assume that's going to be the Taliyah jungle that we've seen repeatedly globally, as well as the LPL. The Smite bug has been worked out, so it can slot into the jungle position. But so far, Fury and Yoon, Fury has only played 1 marksman on the 8-11 patch. Jackie Love has only played marksman on the 8-11 patch.
And also remember, this is us not seeing Invictus Gaming for a fair while, because while Suning Gaming have crushed out 5 games so far in the first 2 weeks of LPL, we've only really seen Invictus Gaming a couple of times, bar from their opening series against JD. So, what have they got for us in terms of adaptation? Because this has been a long time since we've seen them. Well, you're right. We see the Taliyah could go jungle, could go AD carry, and we've got the Aurelia as well. I love it. It's a takeaway from Fen and an adaptation at the same time.
And frankly, we've seen a lot of teams prioritizing the blue side, and there have been a lot of first pick Nocturnes. We've seen it especially very devastating in the LCK, but it hasn't quite found that same swagger over in the LPL. And I don't know if that's just the disparity of the junglers and what Nocturne needs, because he can't really duel or turn on, you know, pre-level 6. It is really about that ultimate and the ability to find those assassinations. But I frankly feel like just in the first 4 picks alone, that Invictus Gaming got the way better end of the deal. Taliyah has just been rampaging through the LPL. We have a lot more Taliyah players than we do Nocturne.
Are you kidding me?
He did it.
Here comes
he only
the
plays
Kassadin
2 champions!
Frustrating. That's very different to what you just told me. It's like, he's a one-trick. He only plays 1 champion. Let's extend that to, well, he is a one-trick, but this is his old one-trick champion. This is his Kassadin. You took away my Aurelia. Let's go.
But see, for me, this is... okay, it's exciting because we get to see Fenfin on his signature pick of Kassadin, but this just proves everything that I thought about Fenfin and why he is not a top-tier mid laner in the LPL. On Kassadin, he can be an S, so maybe we see that superstar performance from him, but if you take away Aurelia, if you take away Kassadin, if you leverage 2 bans, this guy hard ents. It is a power enting. We see it repeatedly, and that's why he was replaced in the first place.
And you're like, Knight, are you in the building?
Yeah, hello, I'd like to discuss a contract.
So, yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue as the series goes on if Invictus Gaming adapt to it. They have taken away the Mundo, however, which you'd have to expect goes to Duke in the top lane.
Now, I do want to quickly focus back onto the Kassadin pick, though. So now you kind of understand who Fin is as a player. My issue with Kassadin on 8-11 is that these games are ending too quickly, and Invictus Gaming averages one of the fastest game times in the LPL. They did it spring, and we haven't gotten a lot of tape for summer because they haven't been playing for the last week. But Kassadin, like, the games are ending before he gets access to level 16. So I thought that he would disappear from the meta, so I'm even curious that Fin, he's kicked off the Aurelia, and that's what he reaches for.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shocker, that's for certain. Invictus Gaming will ban away the Darius and also ban away the Aatrox, while on the opposite side we've got Suning removing the Draven part of what we've dubbed the bounty lane, coming in from Jackie Love and Baolan, with Pyke, of course, the Blood Harbor Ripper coming in there as well, along with the Lucian. So Invictus Gaming will lock in the Alistair here for Baolan.
And you can already see how the dynamic has changed. Invictus Gaming used to be known as Red Side Rookie. Of course, when you have such a powerful mid laner, you would want to give him the counter pick, but this time around, yes, using flex options, but it's probably going to be Mundo, Taliyah, Aurelia, and giving the counter pick to Jackie Love. And this is why Fury is locking in the Kai'Sa right now. The Draven, the Lucian, the Kai'Sa. Pretty much the only ADC left is the Ezreal.
Yep.
Or maybe he reaches for the Ashe, but we've really only seen Ashe work in the LPL when worked in tandem with Tahm Kench.
Exactly. We've seen it from a couple of teams. One of those was Uzi himself. Trying to bring that one to the table, and Suning looking towards their final pick. We already have a jungler in the form of Nocturne, so we are going to find ourselves with a Fury Kai'Sa, and that will be an Ornn as well. One of the most picks so far in the LPL. Everyone's just loving this one in the top lane.
Yeah, and frankly, looking at Suning's composition, I love it. Save for, oh, hold on. We took a sideways turn. We finally got a Yasuo, so this is going to be the first non-ADC ADC pick that Jackie Love will play in the bot lane. That was a tongue twister.
Yeah, it's not an easy one for certain, but you're right. We haven't really seen anything else other than the Draven was obviously a big one coming out of Jackie Love for him. But now moving towards this Yasuo, we're going to give the bot lane as much as he can go, and he's also got the Alistair alongside him, and that's going to be playing into the Kai'Sa and the Shen.
So again, taking stock of the compositions, really looking at them, I love Suning's comp. We see this all the time in the LPL, save for the Kassadin. I understand why the Kassadin is there. It is for Fin. We've seen Kassadin crop up a little bit globally, but personally for me, I just don't like it on 8-11. We'll see if Suning are able to stall out or snowball hard enough that Fin can take off on the Kassadin. And if anyone is going to do it, this is the Kassadin player of the LPL. But on the other side, it's Aurelia, and it's Rookie's Aurelia. And that first back, Kassadin's itemization versus Aurelia's Sheen is going to be devastating.
And that's what we were talking about, Frost. It's like, well, we want to see them do one of two things, and when we're talking about Invictus Gaming, that's either take away Fan's Aurelia, which they did, or counter him in the mid lane, which they also did. So they hit him with a double whammy. So I want to see how hard this Aurelia is going to destroy him in this middle lane. Like, that's the goal here from Invictus Gaming, and then you've got to look to the jungles as well. How is this 2 versus 2 going to work out? And you're right. Nocturne so far hasn't found a bunch of success in the LPL, and I think back to players like Swift, you know? Ironically, it's almost like it feels Nocturne is a bit too slow because a lot of the games are decided before Nocturne can activate his first paranoia.
Especially when Taliyah is in the game. Taliyah has just been rampaging through the LPL. The windows that you have to take control over the game, especially with your pathing, a lot of the times you'll see a delayed invade and then a quick 3-buff and controlling of both Scuttle Crabs because her tempo is that quick. And in tandem with an Aurelia who on initial buy is just so powerful, you get immediate access, almost uncontested, into the river. Suning can't contest that with Nocturne Kassadin, so that means that Invictus Gaming have a wealth of options and a kill bottom lane about how they want to run the first 10 minutes of game 1.
This is going to be rough for Suning in the early game. Keep in mind they always have their set play ready to go at around 15 minutes, but the real question is, can they get there? Even though that is very early on into the game. As we get onto the Rift, I'm going to hand it over to the audience to get us into this one.
And of course, we had our previous game in Hangzhou. Now we are in our home arena in Shanghai. And since a lot of the away system has moved out some of the bigger organizations like RNG to Beijing, Team WE to Xi'an, so I was just talking about how Taliyah likes to do the level 1s to split the map and secure the 3-buff position. Invictus Gaming are one of the largest organizations still left in Shanghai, so you can hear that almost home crowd favorite behind them, especially against such a young team like Suning, but maybe some shenanigans.
Duke always found them, it's hit something.
Good scout by Duke. And this is something that Invictus Gaming have been very clean on. Some of the LPL teams, especially RNG and MSI, were consistently caught with their pants down concerning level 1s. But you can just see the fact that Duke scouts out the mid lane, that Ning moves over, he places a ward. They understand exactly what they want. Now, in response, Suning have placed an early ward into the top river. So usually when Taliyah does this, she's going to attempt the 3 buff. She's going to grab the red buff, and then she's going to almost immediately run topside, secure that Scuttle Crab, take her buff, move back down, and then grab the bottom Scuttle Crab. And just denies so much.
Is tempo, and it gets the flick of the wrist onto Fen. That's going to do so much damage. Right here, what has he got left? He's got the corrupting potions, but that's going to hurt.
And immediately, Nocturne has to give up the entire top side of the map. It's the Kassadin, he's going to get shoved down. Now he's super low health. Yes, the exhaust was burned, I believe. No, not an exhaust. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just blind. Don't have my glasses, but there you go. Taliyah knows. She walks up. She's going to take the Scuttle Crab, and Aurelia can rotate if Hacker goes in on this.
Oh, Hacker's not feeling it because he knows that Aurelia is rotating from the mid lane because Aurelia has priority.
Hacker is wasting so much time. Look at how hard he's going to be punished here.
If that flick had landed, it would have been hurt city for him, but he's still going to have to be sent back to base.
And now Hacker has completely given up his entire jungle. Maybe he goes the long way around and he can either grab his Raptor camp and then try to slip into bottom river, but immediately Ning's like, if he wants to, just walk straight back down across mid and secure the second Scuttle Crab. But looks like instead he's going to go towards his own red buff.
Just play the...
I believe Rookie should actually move out in river as soon as he pushes this in and just deny Hacker even further to make sure that he doesn't slip into river.
I mean, let's be honest, this is just an easy matchup for Aurelia in the mid lane, plus he got assistance from Ning, so he's always going to have control over this mid lane. I actually don't think he cares even if Hacker comes in there, so there's absolute priority from Ning and Rookie in this mid lane. They're acting as like 3 or 4 people just as 2.
And this is what we were talking about in Champions Select. You can already see that the blueprint has been set up. They've executed on it perfectly. Now, how does this leak into the rest of the map? Yeah, you could maybe look to go top against Mundo Ornn, but let's be real, they probably won't. Both of them will be on an island. So now it's, if Fin steps out of position, you try to camp the Kassadin, but otherwise it's all about this bottom lane. You look at the Alistar, you look at the Yasuo, once they have level 3, level 4, you have the all-in and kill pressure, and that's where this Taliyah really needs to spend her time.
If Rookie, I don't think Rookie fully felt that was going to land right there because it was a minion setup and Fen being stunned. There was a way for him to go and he's going to do it anyway! Defiant Dance to flash away. He's low. Yun from the bottom side. Plus Duet is good, but he's going to keep on chasing. The flash is up.
Literally, he just needs an auto attack and an ignite.
Flash forward. And Rookie's going to bleed out. That's going to be first blood over to Suning.
Oh, great call from Fury and Yun. It's the bot lane that eventually saves the day. They pushed the wave in. They didn't take the back, instead roamed mid lane. Here comes Taliyah. I think she's just going to grab the wave, pull it for Rookie. Yep, there we go.
Rookie's got teleport as well, so it's not going to hurt him too much in the mid lane, but real unfortunate. Didn't have the damage calculation down on Fen, and then ends up dying for it as well, plus giving a kill over to the bottom lane.
I mean, frankly, I'm not going to put so much on Rookie. I knew what he was trying to go for there, and I think it was the right call. I think it was just a better play from Fury and Yun.
Exactly. I mean, we both saw it. But in the end, didn't work out in terms of execution. Now into this bottom lane, Ning is actually trying to convert this down into the bottom lane, see what he can do in terms of push. Doesn't see it, so he's going to go back into the enemy jungle now. But he's just lurking. He's just making sure that his presence is known. And Fury and Yun, they're well aware. They shoot out that little barrage to see if Ning is just chilling in the brush right there.
I mean, he's got time to kill, so he's just looking for someone to kill while he waits for his camps to respawn.
Yeah.
Which there's a flashless Kassadin. It was the exhaust. It was Kassadin's
exhaust.
I was correct.
That's almost... you shouldn't doubt yourself. It's about to come off cooldown as well, and plus he's got the unsealed spellbook.
I actually think unsealed spellbook. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but...
Yeah, something's brewing for us.
This is a Baolan special. He's taking, well, technically a page out of Yun's book, but he was also very well known for early roams on the mid lane.
Oh, flash forward into the instant engage. The flick back onto Fen is big. Rookie gets the kill. Ning takes one more tower shot, but Hacker, he cannot defend this one. Has to go back to his inner tower.
Taliyah could still be in trouble as long as they don't catch him, which he is actually going to get out alive. Just walks it off. Hacker's hunting. Pick the right bush.
I mean, he doesn't
have
the
the
time.
Q. Ah.
I mean, even if he had known exactly where, it still would have been a rush. He'd have to flash Dustbringer. But again, you're playing battleships.
But this all just feeds back into why I have issues with Kassadin and Fin particularly in this matchup. The fact that they picked it so early, that he picked it into the Aurelia, that he saw what was going to happen, and it just feels so devastating. He is completely shut down, and it now leaks into his jungle.
Yeah, the one thing that Suning did get from this is that 1 kill on 2, unfortunately, a Shen. I mean, it's nice, but you'd want it on one of those carries, someone you are actively funneling gold into. And we can actually take a look at his runes right here as well, thank you, observers. So he's going for the Inspiration first, of course, Unsealed Spellbook, and the classic Resolve Masteries as well.
And of course, the Inspiration, the Unsealed Spellbook has been changed. So how it now works is you have the access to grab hold of new summoner spells, but you can only, it locks you out of them. And so at any point, he can decide if he wants to change it up. In fact, he's done so now. He has the TP as well as the exhaust, but then he only gets one use of that before it's locked out. And I think that it's a tool that hasn't been experimented with enough, because you no longer need to be on the spawn to grab hold of the shards and change out your summoner spells.
Which is very powerful.
Very cheesy if people aren't paying attention.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. I definitely 3-summoned someone in a trade the other day and they felt good. Anyways, Ning is in the bottom side of melee right now, just clearing away wards.
I'm going to throw it out. Double smite compositions with the Unsealed Spellbook and put the smite on the support. Support Ivern smite, just Unsealed Spellbook.
The quick Frost Fury in before it becomes the ultimate meta.
We saw Snake toying with the idea.
We did, with the Oba Bushcat composition, the Rengar Ivern in mid lane. For now, we're going to see Hacker just, again, be behind in tempo. He's actually same level as Ning right now, but for the Nocturne, it's always about getting that level 6. I'm also checking in on Fen, who's currently 43 farm to 68. So Rookie still controlling the mid lane and still giving pressure for Ning to head into Hacker's jungle.
And it's a level advantage, and this is what we were talking about. The fact that Fen lost control over the mid lane. Yes, Ning put the pressure, but you need to understand that's exactly what's going to happen in that matchup. You're going to punish the Kassadin, and again, back to Hacker's early pathing. He should have never tried for that Scuttle Crab. He was punished massively for it, which is why you have, it seems like a small tempo advantage, but is starting to snowball and escalate. It's these tiny micro advantages that start inches and then quickly become miles.
I mean, the ripples, right? The ripple effect. Gradually, it becomes a tidal wave, and that is what Invictus Gaming are going to gun towards later on in this game. First time we actually get to take a look at the top lane, as we just quickly pan away.
No one wants to look at it, Pulse.
Hey, I'm just saying,
look away.
Just remember that Duke and Xiao Ao exist in this game, Ornn versus Mundo. That's my only hit. Now, back to the bottom lane. Yoon and Fury being backed up by Hacker right here. He's got this level 6. He's got the Paranoia. They're stepping forwards, and they're baiting Baolan into a potential engage.
And I do want to quickly touch on, hold on.
Here it is. There's the Paranoia right down onto an ultless Alistar. Meets back of the menu, boys. That's going to be a kill over to Suning.
And finally, there's the power of the Nocturne that is so often missing in the LPL. It seems so basic, but even our great Nocturne players like Swift have been unable to capitalize on these types of plays. And I think it also then speaks to the strength of Fury and Yoon versus someone like Vici Gaming's bottom lane. Like, these two players are players that you trust, and you will try to make the play there.
And hey, it worked out. 2-1 currently, and actually just taking the lead in terms of goals. We're basically slap even. Bang on even, I should say. I'll just go full British, it's fine. And Suning Gaming are actually even with Invictus Gaming right now, which is so incredibly important when you're actually drafting something like a Kassadin. And remember, we know they like this set play. They like to go to top lane with multiple members and dive whoever's there. It doesn't matter who they are, what they are, they'll go for that play.
And the biggest issue there with the bot lane was the level difference. And you're talking about how they want to take multiple members, where they can take the entire team. You now have the Riftwalk unlocked, as well as the Stand United from... I always want to say Fury, but it is Yoon every single time.
Fury and Yoon.
The Stand United, we talk about them as a collective group.
Yeah, it's a struggle, man. I mean, the fact that like, this is one of the more normal games we've seen so far. Anyway, guys, make sure that if you want to watch the rest of the conclusion of the previous series we didn't get to cover because of the tech difficulties, that was LGD versus JD, you can go over to Doyu or Panda. That's going to be a Mandarin broadcast, but if you want to see the end of it, go over there right now. The links are on your screen, or were on your screen.
I'm not going to try to convince you, you know, if you want to follow your LGD heart, follow your LGD heart, but I'm just saying, you know, Invictus Gaming, they announced the Shy was returning on Weibo. Kind of feel like if we don't see him, maybe game 2.
I'm just saying multi-stream. That's all I'm saying. You see, there's
dual monitors.
Creative alternatives. For us, it doesn't have to be one or the other. But for now, there's about to be a gank, so maybe tune into that one just after the next maybe 15 seconds, because Ning is actually going to go ahead recall, but Hacker on the top side of the map with this Blast Cone doesn't have Paranoia, but will be up in 33 seconds. Duke starting to run away. Pour the Forge God does not tag him. Extra speed boost coming on that one with Sadism, and Duke is actually healing health right now, so Hacker going to give up the Ghost.
Yeah, retains everything, and like you said, it was the fact that Hacker didn't really have the Paranoia, as well as Xiao not connecting with every version of his CC, and now it's a numbers advantage to Invictus Gaming. They see the jungler's top, and here they
combo
go.
Right into Jacula's last breath. Yoon is going to retreat under the tower, but now he's left his AD carry out to dry. Here's Xiao Ao in for the top lane, trying to body block for his AD carry, but here comes Rocky in for the mid lane as well. Lands the to store down onto Yoon. He's going to CS a minion and get a bit of health back on that one. And now Rookie, Defiant Dance, but Defiant, oh my god, jumps out of the way, but Fen has the ultimate to follow the rest of the team. Now getting chased down, Yoon looking for the follow, and Nocturne, he's going to find you, he's going to follow you, flash over the wall. There is no escape from the Nightmare. Actually, maybe there is. There's a tower and a Jackie Love looking for the flick now, the 2 versus 1, but Hacker has Fen on the backside, ready to follow. Double Dustbringer gives the speed boost. Nice counter engage from Jackie Love, and that's going to be it. Well played to Invictus game, but in the end, Suning run away with 2.
And the huge difference there is the fact that Duke doesn't have access to the TP. So Suning, they are all about the TP plays. This team has constantly hit front page Reddit with all of these crazy stopwatch plays around the bottom. Everyone piles in. They will immediately pull the trigger. They are great at being a reactionary team. And Xiao saw his opportunity and took it. He missed the CC top, but he got the CC bottom lane to put Rookie in a pretty shit situation to start.
Set play, baby. Can you say that one more time? Because Suning, they swapped up. It wasn't top lane, but it was bot lane, Frosk. And what's this? 12 minutes on the clock, around the 10 to 20 minute mark, and we are now ahead with Suning Gaming. First tower of the game.
And huge because Fen also gets the rotation to make sure that there's no type of objective trade. So for this entire early game so far, Invictus Gaming had the tempo advantage to the jungle. They try to apply it bottom, but Suning immediately called the bluff. And again, Xiao missed his CC on the top lane by hitting it, but he does nail it on Rookie. Rookie takes way too many tower shots. Then suddenly your Aurelia is going to be cleaned up by Fen, and Invictus Gaming already put at a poor position. Take a look at the minimap. Here comes Nocturne. He literally ganked top lane, but with the power of Paranoia, joins the team fight on the back half, and one of the coolest car chases that I think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. Full Tokyo Drift right there, but in the end, Suning run away with a couple. We actually just saw on the backside of that fight the kill that we didn't see there onto Invictus Gaming's remaining members. But indeed, you're right, really took too many tower shots from that one, and I appreciate the Defiant Dancing Q combo. I saw it Rookie, but it just didn't quite pan out. And I hate to say it, but this is the second time I've seen in this game a slight mechanical mistake from Rookie, and you cannot make these mistakes against someone like Fen. He's just like sitting here waiting to catch up, and now he's 1-1 and 2.
I mean, I know you're all about the micro mistakes, and it is something that isn't something that we normally expect from someone like Rookie, but ultimately that was a macro error and a communication error from Invictus Gaming. And if we want to talk about the weaknesses or the cracks in this team, IG, they are lane kingdom. It has been about the Shy, it has been about Jackie Love, and it has been about Rookie. They find advantages and they win games before anyone is ever even grouped up. For the longest time, we've leveraged that IG are a weaker skirmishing team, that they are a weaker team fighting team, and they really haven't been contested in terms of their macro decision making and performance. And Suning called them on it and caught them off guard.
They absolutely did. We're going to have a quick pause here, guys. Don't have any information just yet, but we will try and get that to you as fast as possible.
To LGD!
Yeah, bring up the other stream, guys, and actually, you can listen to us if you want while we're in this pause, but yeah, go ahead and watch that first game that's now airing on Douyu and Panda. But I actually want to explore that concept a little bit more here for us, because you're absolutely right, haven't been called on it so far. In Champion Select, I was hopeful. I saw Invictus Gaming bring out a couple new things. We saw the Yasuo coming into the bot lane for them. We saw the Talia into the jungle. I was like, okay, great. But again, I feel like Suning, at the same time, have not been punished for their very clear set plays. You have a mid lane who is a one-trick, two-trick at best, and they make a play from 10 to 20 minutes, and it's usually been top lane. This time it was a curveball, it went into bottom lane, and Invictus Gaming, I mean, frankly, they didn't seem ready for it.
I mean, if I was the coach in this situation, and if I was the coach of Invictus Gaming specifically, I would look at that and say, why was that teleport not tracked? Why would you attempt a dive? And if this is miscommunication between Baolan or Duke or whoever made the call there, and we see this all the time, there are growing pains with Duke. Would that have been solved if it was the Shy? Would they not have even attempted to go for the dive? Because here's the thing, they have the numbers advantage, they zone them from the tower, they have access to wind wall. You could very easily take massive chip damage on that tower, depending on what happens, maybe if the waves are coming in. I can't quite remember the exact setup. Maybe you even get the tower or rotate it into a dragon, but they chose to go for the dive and then were caught off by a numbers advantage, which if you just say, I don't have TP, he has TP, that doesn't happen.
Sure. So again, it could also be a communication problem, you know, at the end of the day as well. It's difficult to tell into team comms, of course, but we can only really, guesstimate off of what we've seen so far in this game. But again, Invictus Gaming currently down 4-1 and behind in gold in the early game. Now, I will say that Suning have struggled historically in the last 5 games that they've played to really solidify closes to their games. They'll get the advances in the early game, they'll hit mid-game hard, and then they'll start to stall out. And against some teams, you know, like a BLG, like major team fighting teams, you can't give them that in. You know, they can't give them that inch.
I mean, the thing is that Suning Gaming are just an inexperienced team. We say that they will be the future of the LPL, but they're not quite there yet. They barely missed making playoffs in Spring Split. They lost the position to the other, you know, up-and-coming new team in the LPL, JD Gaming. So again, if you want to grab hold of two teams that, right into another pause. The hipster teams of the LPL, I would say, pick Suning, pick JD. One of them will be great. Preferably both of them at some point.
Sure.
It's just that inexperience of not having lived as many situations to make the correct calls come late game.
Yeah, sorry to tease you guys. This is going to be a hopping back out of the game. Again, no update from our side. We're just investigating this one with the refs on stage. And as soon as we get that one figured out and then translated to English, we will send up your way. So, still trying to figure out what the problem is on stage.
The producer keeps yelling at me in Chinese. I can't.
Yeah. What does it mean? I'm sorry. We need a Clement over here. But yeah. Okay, so here's the next topic, Frosk. I know we spoke about this before, but is it too early to start questioning Invictus Gaming as a team? Because last split, they were the chosen ones. They were meant to go to MSI. They were meant to rock the world. RNG ended up doing that for them and for the LPL, but Invictus Gaming were the ones who were a record-breaking team in multiple metrics, and I don't know if they'll ever go back to that.
My personal opinion is that it is very fair to have high expectations and standards for Invictus Gaming. We call this the era of the three kingdoms. This is about RNG, this is about EDG, and this is about IG. These are our contenders for the LPL Champion Cup. And Invictus Gaming didn't just trip, they absolutely face planted and dragged their face across the pavement at the very end of the LPL. Now, yes, they lost the Shy, but we haven't really seen a lot for them. Again, this is kind of the week of Invictus Gaming. They will play 3 best-of-3s, including RNG at the very end of this week alone, going into Rift Rivals. There was just this huge week where we didn't see head or tails of them. They say that the Shy is back. We saw him coming into the practice room. I assume that he would play Game 2. Over, I believe, 70% of their losses do happen with Duke. And so this...
Yeah.
It sounds weird, and I don't mean the analogy in terms of the Shy being injured. I just mean the analogy of what happened to IG from a mental standpoint, because Rookie literally went mental boom on the end of the split. And yes, they didn't have the Shy. Yeah. It could be career ending. You know what I mean? Like, you have this superstar athlete, they go in, they're smashing all these records. You're looking at everything like, yes, this guy is going to be, you know, let's say the next Michael Jordan. And then boom, tears his ACL, and everyone's like, if he comes back, will they ever be the same? I actually feel that IG are in a similar situation. Record-breaking, smashing kids, looking straight at MSI, tore out the ACL, lost their star top laner, mental boom from their mid laner. No one seems to be grabbing. Jackie Love, especially cracking under pressure, not living up to the Prodigy title. And the question is, was that just a one-hit wonder from IG? Will they actually ever return to the form that we saw them from beginning of spring to, you know, end of regular split? Or is that gone? Because IG have really never proven that they can step back up. You know, we always talk about them as the dark horse, but when is it actually going to be Invictus Gaming's time? So, Rookie on your screen right now. Feeling a little bit because Pulse is actually communicating with our producer so we can figure out what's happening and relay that information to you guys. Reminder that LGD versus JD is happening on our DouYu stream as well as our Panda TV stream. It will be cast by the Mandarin casters. If you want to hang around and listen to us, we'll be covering the action still for Suning and Invictus Gaming in English. And we're just going to chill with the camera guys here. How's it going, Pulse? Nope, not going very well. We're going back to...
sorry that. I was just talking to production there trying to get you some answers. We're actually going to take a quick look at LGD and JD.
Like, what?
Now, this is going to be a little bit difficult for me to play, so we're actually just going to take a look at this together, Frosk, and we'll go on a journey together.
Well, we're definitely going on a journey with Aatrox.
We absolutely are. This guy just popped off. All right.
Did we just cut out of another game into another pause, or are we back into our pause?
That was just a small clip coming in from the game that's happening currently.
Oh!
On the other stream.
I'm getting whiplash.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Frosk. It's all right.
I was like, that's not LGD.
Yeah, so of course, guys, if you have just joined us, the other game that we started off today, which had tech difficulties, is happening currently on DouYu and Panda. That's going to be covered by our Mandarin partners. So if you want to go catch that one while we are on a pause ourselves, feel free to. And you'll be able to catch those on the Mandarin platforms.
Tuning on our screen right now, though, is again, Pulse is going to check back in. So you're here with Frosk. What does Frost want to talk about? I mean, Finfin's on the screen. I feel like I already blasted Finfin, which, to be fair, I was a little bit too hard on him. Finfin, you are an excellent casting player. You are one of the best Aurelia players that we have in the LPL from a micro perspective, but I don't really have a ton of respect for One Tricks. As soon as he expands his champion pool, I'm ready to move Finfin from B tier into A tier.
Oh, that's why you went duo with me. I get it. It all comes out on cast.
I don't want to play with Yorick or Urgot. So
hey man, I've expanded. I've got a Laui in there. I play a bit of Aurelia, but no, that's fair. I've been experimenting with a bit of Pyke and top lane. But okay, I've just been trying to get some information as we can from QC and from the referees down there, which is why I'm being a bad conversation partner. I apologize for us.
No, it's fine. I talk to myself a lot. I'm like, how you doing? Great.
Unfortunately, we don't really have any knowledge of what's happening on stage right now. It is obviously a problem with the computers. I mean, I don't need to tell you that. But we're trying to figure out who the problem is with, how long this is going to take, and if it's going to be simply one of those IT problems where it's, did you try switching it on and off again? But again, this is one of those things that you just have to diagnose on stage on the fly. So once again, apologies guys. We'll try and get back into game as soon as possible.
So kind of checking back into the game, what we, if you haven't seen it, recap, it was Invictus Gaming who came out swinging. They had jungle tempo advantage with Talia. They early on put Finfin, the guy on your screen right now, and Hacker pretty significantly down, but it was Suning that came around with a surprise sucker punch and smacked Invictus Gaming in the bot lane, and now have the current lead in this game.
I hear you, Frost. I misheard production. It is an in-game issue, so it's not peripheral. It's actually an interaction that happened in-game.
I wonder what type of interaction it could have happened.
I wonder indeed. There happens to be a Talia in this game, and yeah, so we'll investigate that. We did get the micro patch on our server, so theoretically it should be fixed. But as you guys know, if you're watching the LPL in any league around the world, there have been multiple issues cropping up recently in terms of bugs, etc. Which honestly I would attribute to the fact that our meta is so wacky and we're trying so many different things right now. There are so many interactions that haven't been used before, so maybe they existed in the past, but no one was crazy enough to throw Talia in the jungle.
There just wasn't that great, which again, as a positive note, it is very interesting that we're in a meta where we're actually seeing interactions that just I've never seen a Nocturne chase a Talia along a wall before.
It's awesome.
I was very impressed with our observers for grabbing that one.
Yeah, shouts to So, who is our lead observer here in the LPL. If you caught Culture Shock number 6, shameless plug coming out from me, but I was in that one with Rusty. Super awesome getting the chance to talk to him and talk about how observing works. And it's a very difficult job. So in the episode, I started trying to observe myself. He was So was teaching me. And we probably recorded like 6 times and we used the good cut. It was difficult, man, trying to follow the different ultimates that were coming in, and the skill that those guys have is just top tier.
Fun fact, when I was back in Oceania, I think it was an LPL game. Back in 2016, our observer was sick, and so we needed someone to fill in kind of last second.
Sure.
And I hopped on, and I believe it was,
Primary?
Yeah, I was primary observer. It was Atlas and I believe Rusty, actually. And I'm so sorry for trolling you guys, but a massive team fight was happening and a Twisted Fate had died on the other side of the map. And if you guys have never played with the observer setup.
Tool.
Yeah, exactly. The key thing is that the positions on both teams are set to 1 through 5 as well as the F keys. And so you can very quickly hit 2 and it'll take you to like the jungler or blue side jungle or red side jungle, whatever it's set up to. And I was trying to follow, I believe, the 80 carry and keep the camera focused around him during the team fight. And I accidentally swapped to the Twisted Fate who was dead across map. And Atlas handled it like a pro, but my bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that happen behind camera that you'll never know until we get to these poor situations.
You listen back to that VOD, you just hear me cackle like, ah!
And then Pulse and Frost just reveal all the secrets. But yeah, absolutely. So there are a lot of things, just like this pause right now, that we're just trying to get some information over to you guys as fast as possible.
And I want to take an opportunity actually to plug our other content, because we just talked about the Culture Shock, but if you guys don't know, the LPL English actually does a lot of English-based content. You can head over to our YouTube channel, LPL Content. We have all of the mic checks that are translated for you guys, a lot of player interviews, a lot of fun things, as well as specific content geared just for the English audience. Things like our Uzi and Rookie interviews. I believe we have a Doimby one that's coming out very soon. And Clement's FaceTime face-to-face with Coach Stake. So a lot of very unique personal sit-down time with the LPL personalities if you want to get to know them a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, I particularly loved that Uzi one. I thought the interview was fantastic on that one. I thought it was a lot of good content coming in that interview. So yeah, shout out to that interview. I thought she did great. But no, it's really actually cool listening to Uzi and listening to Rookie and really just getting some real talk time with them, because honestly, like, we kind of know their stories and everyone at home knows the stories from home as well. But when you actually dig deep into what drives them as a player, what their mental process is in those big moments, it is absolutely fascinating.
So we are going to go ahead and take a look at the game-winning late-game team fight between JD and LGD. Here we go. Take it away, Pulse.
I have no idea what's happening, but
I'll play by play.
All right.
The Rakan jumps in, he jumps out, Squeevy Swooty, here comes Gao's booty, and he's got them.
We should actually just swap roles.
No, please, no.
That was quality.
Twitch chat's like,
whoa,
no.
Okay, Hextech Ultimatum. Yeah, I'll see you later, kid. And Jinu is just going to slap Clid. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, but Zoom came from around the back, giving him the good old reach around. Here comes Loken, goes forward, doesn't find the poke. He's like, it's all me. And back to Balan.
Yeah.
This is why I don't do play-by-play.
And this is also how difficult it is casting without context, because a lot of play-by-play casting, you've got to know what you're following. Like, notice this next time you listen to a play-by-play. It's just like, when you're listening to conversations, like, all right, who are we focusing on? Who's going to be the player to follow in the next team fight? That's a subtle way for play-by-players and our monkey brains to ask our color casters, what should we be following, so we can then follow it in the following team fight.
It's called piggybacking. It was popularized by Kobe. So if you guys go back and think of all the times that Kobe's like, teleport, teleport, teleport. I believe Jat also does it very well.
Yeah.
But the technical term for that is a color caster piggybacking on a team fight to indicate things that are happening off screen that will be important.
Yeah.
And then immediately the play-by-play caster will grab it. Because a lot of times the play-by-plays have to be locked in and try to tell the team fight from a very specific story lens or angle. So it's like, if it's Uzi, you're probably telling a team fight from Uzi's perspective, and it's all, the Kaiser goes in, he's blowing out on it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's basically, think about it like punctuation and flair, right? You're adding accents onto the play-by-play that's already being done. So, super important stuff. And now we're just kind of talking about the mechanics of casting.
I can keep going. I wrote an actual, like...
novel?
Well, see, what happened is Pastry Time was our... So what's cool about the Oceanic team is that Pastry Time... I mean, we had all of the Australians. Love Australia. We had Pastry Time, and his big thing was core development. And so he wrote up a presentation about the mechanics of casting. I later then, with Pastry Time's permission, turned this into a long-form document, and we actually shipped it to the high schoolers. What's really cool what happening in Oceania's high school scene is that they set up all of their own grassroots clubs, and they're having grassroots tournaments, and as a byproduct, a lot of young casters are getting involved. So the teachers reached out to us. They wanted resources about how to train these casters, and we've been working with them to write up kind of like, this is how casting works, these are the different mechanics, this is how color casting interacts with play-by-play casting, and it's nice to see that integrated into more of the semi-professional and amateur casting scenes.
Okay, we do have an update now. We're going to go back and Chrono Break. This is why it's taking so long, folks. We're going to go back to 1327 from 1347. I can actually see it on your screen as well. This is because of a Talia ultimate bug. Now, we don't know exactly which ultimate that was.
Well, she's only had one ult.
I don't know if it came off cooldown and then she used it again, right?
I see.
But that could be the Nocturne ultimate that followed the Talia ultimate over the wall. And apparently it was a bug. So we'll figure out what's going on with that. But that is the reason we're going back. So, because if it is that ultimate, that changes a lot. Because that was like mid-team fight.
Well, that was Invictus Gaming effectively throwing away any semblance they had of entering the mid-game on an even footing for gold.
Yeah.
But I believe a lot of the damage had been done before the Talia ultimate came out. Again, my issue was more so the idea to take a dive there, not having the ability for your top lane to follow, as opposed to just using the numbers advantage to pressure off the tower and acquire chip damage on the structure.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the other game that's happening right now. Loken actually went ahead and took the MVP. He was 5-0 in the first 5 minutes of that game. So we're pretty much just going to roll a package and take a look at how he did it.
Oh yeah, we got the music. I feel like I'm playing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Am I in an anime right now?
Well, if Logan is the main character, you absolutely are, because he's really had a protagonist in anime storyline. If you don't know, Logan was formerly of ESC Ever, the team that famously took down SKT, which at this point in the narrative really doesn't seem like that big of an accomplishment. But I promise you, new League of Legends viewers, it was a big deal. Now, he was one of the few members to leave the team along with Athena. So, you know, the LCK constantly putting out this beautiful rookie talent like you've seen in Griffin, really, as they come back in. And Logan came to the LPL, stumbled a little bit, but has now refound his stride and kind of the success that he started with so hotly in LCK, transferring over to his LPL career.
Man, that just reminds me of My Hero Academia, that soundtrack we just heard. And it really is fitting, actually, because, you know, what we actually called him last split was Logan is the extra or the side character. And he's the guy who is ascending to main character, and he really is now. The guy has stepped up significantly in his own role and is starting to be very proactive by himself. And has continued to do so in a very turbulent meta.
I mean, to me, he's now I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh professional. No, I don't spend a lot of time. But Yugi does have like two forms. Yeah, he's got the normal nerdy
dork
cute,
Yugi,
and then he's got like badass.
Yeah.
Logan was normal, and occasionally now he, I don't know, transforms.
Yeah.
Is it a transformation,
Yeah,
like a magical girl?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
It's not the same way as a magical girl, like in
There's no,
like
like,
Sailor
sequence.
Moon or Cardcaptor Sakura, but no,
Now
he
you're
just kind of
speaking my language.
no, he just pretty much like steps on stage and he's just like, I'm badass now, and that's Logan. And he's crushing it, honestly. So it's really nice to see him take the MVP and take another step towards just being a baller ADC in the bottom lane.
Fulfilling his destiny. I cashed that Kespa Cup tournament when they took down SKT. It was what, Key, Logan, Athena, Crazy, and oh, well, I get the last one.
Was that the one that you cast with Dracos?
Yeah, and he couldn't say Callista.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh no, he called Kindred Callista
Yes,
every single time.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like the amount of like words that are similar to other things in League of Legends, and sometimes we just hardwire our brains, and it's just like, this is how it is, until someone corrects us, and we're like, no way was I calling Callista Kindred X or vice versa.
He still gets crap for that too.
Yeah. I mean, we've got it, right? We've always got a ribbon for something.
Probably because I remind the audience at any point that I can that he made that mistake repeatedly.
Love you, Dracos. Yeah, of course. Yeah, used to work with the EU team. You know, sometimes I dream about them.
Dracos and I are basically the same person. We grew up.
You're both Portlandians, aren't you?
We're both from Portland.
Which is an actual term, by the way, I learned the other day. Portlandian is a thing. I made it up. I thought I was being funny, but apparently it's an actual thing.
We have good news, though. You saw
What's
the
that?
little bottom lower third disappear. We're going to get back in.
Okay, hopefully, third time's the charm.
Lean into it, Pulse.
Okay, I'm leaning. IRL, lean.
Yeah!
2, 1. Hold your breath. I'm going to give it 5 to 10 seconds.
Okay, so
With chrono break.
we have chrono break. We've gone back, I believe, 15 or 20 seconds. Let's kind of take stock. Still a 1K gold advantage, but Invictus Gaming on the Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, they're starting this one up. Ning's... Oh, I see. Ning, so it looks like he used it and then looked to cancel, and that's why it's coming off cooldown quickly. So he must have activated it and it just like shot him across the map into a tower or something. So, makes sense. Okay, reset. We're 14 minutes into the game. Ning still has his ultimate. IG on the back foot after Suning made an incredible set play towards the bottom lane, caught Invictus Gaming off guard in terms of numbers, and now ahead in this game. Invictus Gaming just picked up the Dragon, and on the opposite side, Hacker is going to get the Herald for more tempo.
I will say the acquisition of the Dragon was a good job from IG, so the bottom tower gets broken, and yes, you could say that Suning played into this anyway because they have the Shen and they can play across map with Stan United, but by forcing the wave in, it means that Kai'Sa and Shen had to respond to bottom lane, which didn't immediately give number priority or advantage over Herald. Now that said, Hacker sees the Dragon goes down, so he grabs it anyway, but I did like the initial kind of like return play. I feel like League of Legends has a lot to do, or a lot of similarities with basketball in terms that you're constantly playing offense and defense.
Like ebb and flow, right? Yeah, I don't know much about basketball, but I can tell you a little bit about volleyball. Here comes Xiao Ao, pushing forwards onto Duke in the top lane. Fury was noticed there just by that little minion.
But you've
so
also got
walk up to
Nocturne.
the tower. Indeed, as is Baolan here, and he's going to make himself known. So this classic Suning play at 15 minutes is not going to be a dive, but we'll drop the tower down to half. Here comes Shen as well to the top lane. The gang's all here.
And so what's important here is if Invictus Gaming were able to stall that, but Suning doing a good job, that they're not just throwing 3 members, they're technically still throwing 4, even though Shen wasn't involved with it, because they did have the Stan United. So IG smartly disengaged from that. Now, Jackie Love has Phantom Dancer, so he is able to get the tower down, but the longer IG were able to stall that, because they're trading it for power on the Yasuo, which was a big problem in the last team fight.
Of course, this Yasuo will hit critical mass in an item or two, so it's very nice to get him those items back as fast as you can. And you're just going to get caught out by the flick into the pebble toss, but he's going to be okie dokie. Here comes Rookie in the bottom side of mid to try and reclaim his own mid wave, but he's got Balan setting up as well.
Yeah, there's no play there, however, because Balan had used his cooldowns on the top side of the map, so that's why Rookie's just not even going to fake it.
And once again, guys, if you want to catch the remainder of LGD and JD, which was our first series of the day, which also had tech difficulties, you can watch it right now on Doyu and Panda. That one's going to be covered by our Mandarin partners. So go ahead over there, multi-stream it. Stick with us if you want some Ings broadcasts, but also watch 2 games of League of Legends at once with some League of Legends with your League of Legends while you League of Legends.
I mean, I watch LCK and LPL when they compete, and I just go cross-eyed like a chameleon.
How's that go for you?
It's ruined my face, but...
But my knowledge, on point.
But my brain feels nice.
Yeah. Okay, we're 16 minutes into this one, and the next dragon's going to be Infernal, so likely there's going to be sparks flying shortly. And we're expecting some vision to be set up for us.
Yeah, all that means is it's going to be about who's going to have the first item power spike, or hopefully the 2-item power spike, depending on how quickly we're going to snowball into this. Now, we could see some skirmishes or some picks if someone steps a toe out of position like Yoon might be flirting with here. But otherwise, both teams really do just want to hunker down into their lanes and continue to try to scale up for this Infernal, and it should be kind of the next big clashing point for us. So should be a relatively slower 4 to 5 minutes unless someone is just massively out of position. And Balan is actually fishing really hard for it.
Oh yeah, he's coming in for that hard flank, the Balan special. And to be honest, Balan used to be the guy who would go mobility boost like he has this game, and then immediately go top side of mid and look for the gank.
Normally not warded.
Right, and now he's actually just going into the bottom side, because IG actually have a bunch of control because they're just running around with this death squad and being like, if you come near us, we'll screw you up, but we'll also take away the wards while doing so.
And here's a perfect tip for solo queue. Walking towards the top side, especially on the initial back, if you just stop and immediately run towards mid lane but go through the top side of the lane, chances are the bottom side is always going to be warded. It is a high traffic area. The Raptor camp is worth a lot right there. Access to the Scuttle Crab, the Dragon, everyone's rotating bottom because there's multiple players there, that you will not be spotted top side and get a successful gank 9 times out of 10.
All right, here comes the charge. And that's almost going to take it out of 1. Now, I need to just... double check with you, Frosk. Is this Shelly, or are we actually naming a Asian version of it, and we're going to go, what was it, Mulder or Scully?
Well, I accidentally said Scully, and then I think there was an X-Files follow-up with the Mulder, but I think it's still Shelly.
Still
I think
Shelly?
she's
international.
She's a globetrotter.
Yeah, she's took the flight over to China for this one. Okay, I can feel it. I can dig it. Jackie Ning and Balan actually sitting on the top side of mid right now, unaware. Currently 2 of their members are sat on a ward, so have complete vision of where they are and what they're trying to do. So of course, yeah, I mean the play is for Yoon's just trying to bait them out and just waste their time. Dragon's going to be coming up in just a minute from now, Frost.
But the mentality is to try to force this because they understand that Suning have a giant target on the map, that it's going to be forcing the mid-tier tower. Now, as the Dragon, oh, hold on, he went over the wall.
Yeah, Duke actually going to pop the ultimate here and look to chase them down, but Fen, he's got the Rift walk. So we should be able to get back to the tower in relative safety, but Hacker, he's the one under attack right now. Cuts vision using the paranoia, but here comes the wall, flashed over from, but Fen still has his ultimate, so Invictus Gaming going to back away from this, but the enemy jungler has been chunked out. The Dragon isn't up, but they can secure vision.
And again, the mentality from IG is they want to try to force something there because they know that Suning were in a position to overextend for it. They want to take down the mid-tier tower. It is simply a stiff breeze from falling over, as well as the Infernal Drake about to spawn in 30 seconds. So I think the call was right to try to set up that play, but didn't find the execution. So good job on Suning disengaging effectively. And meanwhile, while all of that is happening, Xiao just got, I think, 3 free waves and shoved everything in.
Yes, he did, and he's now actually just evened up / overtaken Duke's amount of farm in this game as well. So it's going to be really nice for Xiao as this game develops. Now, Frosk, who are we looking at in this next team fight? Well, I guess we won't get to talk because Yoon has been caught up by Ning and Baolan. The chase continues, the flash away by the Shen, but now he is chunked out and Dragon has just spawned.
But it doesn't necessarily mean much in the larger pictures of things, because if they still want to go in, the Shin could join the team fight just as easily. But I guess it's enough for Suning because they have control of the scuttle, they know that it's happening, they decide not to take the fight, but I feel like it has more to do so with the current itemization that IG have and where their champions spike rather than just losing the Shen.
And now this has actually been a relatively tame game compared to a lot of the bloodbaths we've had in the LPL so far. We had explosive start to the game, of course, with Suning getting the better of Invictus Gaming on a couple of these skirmishes and set plays. But for now, it's generally been like getting territory control, warding someone away, looking for a pick, being very tactical, guerrilla warfare almost, and then going for these objectives by both teams.
I think a lot of it has to do with the champions of the compositions, and not for lack of trying either. Invictus Gaming have been trying to force very heavy, and Suning have just been very reactionary. But right now, the target should either be the top or the mid tower for both teams. More so the mid tower for Suning, of course, because top is down. But you can see both those structures are weak, and within the next 3 minutes, we should have a big 5v5 that could ultimately determine the game because Baron is up.
So who are going to be the key players in that when we get to that fight for us?
For me, it should be about the Yasuo. A lot of the times when we see these extended fights, Yasuo and Aurelia will be running all over everything. Duke has access to Warmonks as well as Spirit Visage, so he's a massive front line. So he should be able to zone out the Kai'Sa. Hopefully, Fury, well, if you're an IG fan, hopefully Fury won't be able to do anything because Mundo's just going to pop his ultimate and run straight into the back line, and then Yasuo and Aurelia are going to come flying back.
So can I get excited about the Nocturne and casting combo?
If they're able to, but like, who are you going to assassinate? Look at how many damage dealers there are on the side of Invictus Gaming.
Fair. And that's the problem. I mean, I feel like that sentence isn't a new one that's ever been said in history. Invictus Gaming with multiple damage threats. Whoa!
It's a numbers advantage. Which
Blocked out by the wind wall. Jaculov, he's being this one. The flash forward, looking for the knockup on to the Ornn. Here comes the Mundo off on the sideline, splitting up the fight of the wall coming in there as well. And Ning got to flash away from this one. Just out the tables, and the Vanguard's edge keeps 2 members of Suning in place. That's separating Shower from the squad. They'll get the kill. Rookie, he's gone way too deep, and he'll go down, and he knows it. Yoon going to be punted back towards the rest of the team, but Invictus Gaming have routed Suning Gaming right now, and Duke, this guy does not care. Mundo goes where he pleases. I mean, 4 kills for 1.
What did I just say? Fury is going to be a non-factor in these team fights. The composition, frankly, there was going to be no hope for Suning Gaming at this point in the game. IG were just going to roll over them if it was ever going to be an even 5v5. Now, that said, the mentality and idea from Suning was correct. They saw that they had a split-second window of a numbers advantage, but they were just slightly out of position for it because IG immediately swung back.
And that's it. Really, that is the veteran power of a team like this, and it feels like a bit of a meme, a cliche to say at this time, but it really is. The fact that Invictus Gaming can identify a situation like that from that small overextend here, the Ornn doesn't connect, and instantly Jaculov sees the opportunity.
And you can see the exact moment when they've realized that they've messed up and Xiaoao is too far forward. And of course IG are immediately going to pull the trigger. They know that the Ornn ultimate's down. Mundo, Duke making his way from the bottom lane, gets involved with it. And at this point, Aurelia is going to hop onto the Kai'Sa, and then Duke's just going to run straight back into her. Fury can't do anything. That's like, what, 3-4 auto attacks total in this team fight? And then he's just dealing with Mundo.
I mean, what are you meant to do as an AD carry in this situation? Duke is healing health while he's diving 2 turrets. So it's a sad life for Kai'Sa. But in the end, Invictus Gaming take 4 kills off of that and a Baron and slingshot themselves into the lead.
When we see ADCs work in the LPL, it's in tandem with some form of protection or disengage. In the case of RNG, it's picks like Tom Kench, which we've seen other LPL teams try to grab and make work. In the case of Edward Gaming, Hex Flash.
Jump over the wall. Here comes Balan. He knocks the Ornn towards the rest of the team, but he escapes. That little dash right there, but the rest of Suning not in the place to follow up or necessarily defend. Take a look at Fen. He's in the top lane with teleport.
There's nothing they can do. They've already known that they're going to sacrifice these. He's trying to grab the waves to make sure that he can stall out some of the Baron. Invictus Gaming recognize that. If we go to any of our side lanes, we lose so much time on this. So we could try to force something mid, and if we catch them, just end the inhibitor. But good call from Suning. They hide, they spread out, they don't make the same mistake twice, and they force Invictus Gaming to reset the map. But back to my other point. Look at Suning's comp. What are they ever going to do for this Kai'Sa? You know, if they get the initiation, if they're the ones going forward, it looks fine. But if it is ever a tug of war, a back and forth, they have already lost. They don't have any form of disengage or protection for the Kai'Sa.
Fully agree with you, because of course Fen wants to be jumping in on the backline, but the backline is
it's
the front line.
It's all backline dive.
Yeah, but there is
even
really
with
no
Kai'Sa
backline for Invictus Gaming. Like, you have a Taliyah, but Taliyah's going to be moving forward with the Aurelia and Yasuo.
Which means that it's so much more important that they're playing the entire map, because what this composition really excels at is picking people, at spreading you thin, and then as soon as you make a mistake, suddenly you have everyone on top of you. The Shin, the Nocturne, the Kassadin, and again, even the Kai'Sa with her W access. But if it's just Invictus Gaming forcing 5v5 after 5v5, there's nothing Suning's comp will be able to do, especially at this point in the game.
And Invictus Gaming, have the affinity towards knowing exactly what to do in these situations. They'll group up and they will press the advantage, and that is what they are doing right now. They've gotten win after win after win in these fights, and tower after tower after tower. There is no split up in the team. It's not divide and conquer, it's like group up and push down the lane. They're pushing now into the top lane with Baolan, seeing if we can find a flank on the side of the fight and also remove the vision as well. Choke away Suning's information. And right now they're being smothered, and Suning, we need to see something else from them, and you're right, they might be gated by the composition.
And I still do like what Suning are doing. You can notice that Hacker in the mid lane made sure that the wave was going forward, also looking for the ultimate, but Suning understand that this is about damage control, get out of range.
Okay, that was a wide wall, and Fenfon was lining up the jump. He had a couple seconds to spare right there. Shen's also going to get away from that one, but Invictus Gaming will still take yet another tower. On the bright side though, still no inhibitor towers have been broken, and that is the line that has been drawn.
And it was just minimizing losses, and how they were able to do that, exactly. In solo queue, if this ever happens where the enemy team groups up, gets the Baron.
Someone's /FF.
No, you open, open chat, play safe, or tell them to give up structures, and then one person run to the other side of the map and start pushing waves. The problem that you run into is when everything is crashing out on your base, and then when you you'll lose big. You want to try to waste the Baron's time. Move between your defensive vision points and try to push a side lane so that they have to respond to it, so they start losing, 10, 15, 30 seconds on their Baron, and it's not as smothering as it could be.
Yeah. Because look at what Invictus Gaming have off that push. They have an advantage of 5,000 gold, which is great. And it also opens up a lot of room for them to play around the map. The second Baron, the next Dragon that's coming up for the Ocean Dragon. But they haven't cracked the base, which means that Suning Gaming are still alive, and they can push out onto the map to do things like this. You're looking at Suning now, literally looking down the barrel of Invictus Gaming and this Dragon and saying, there's a potential here for us to find a pig slasher fight.
Looking to fight another day is all they want, but I wouldn't try to waste that on an Ocean Dragon, especially at this point in the game.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, they're just hovering around seeing if anyone will take the bait, go towards the bait that is Fen. If not, then it's fine, we'll back away, we'll look for another fight.
Yep, they're continuing to stall because the longer the game goes on, I'm not going to say that Suning outright win, but their chances do get better because of the champions on their team. Again, my huge issue with Cassidy is it feels like games really are determined or they end before he has access to level 16. So level 14 right now, we'll see if it gets better. But right now it's looking dire. They've done a good job slowing the bleeding, but it hasn't stopped.
And as much as we do praise Suning because the early game was well played, they took Invictus Gaming off guard, one of the stronger teams in the LPL right now, but this is the problem when it comes to their following plays and how to close out games for us.
And I kind of want to change the language on that. Now, again, I am a much more critical caster than a lot of our casters in the LPL, and you always do want to compliment teams when, someone makes a fumble and the other team takes the opportunity or recognizes
it. Yeah, they catch the throw.
And punishes it. But ultimately, when it's Invictus Gaming who's making a fumble like they did in the early game to lose a lot of the momentum that they started with, I just want to put the magnifying glass on IGs. Hold on.
Vanguard's Edge. This has been a perfect combo so far by Rookie. He follows up over the wall and Fen flashes away. Has to hit the blast cone, but Rookie very happy with how this one turned out.
And is going to continue to chase. So the map has been spread, but Invictus Gaming are just continuing to win in every single lane. Still, inhibs haven't been broken.
Fen, he's just going to walk it back to base. I mean, honestly, when you're that close and you're casting with Riftwalk, don't risk recalling in the jungle because you don't have enough vision right now, and Rookie can close the distance very easily. He still has flash as well. And once again, I mean, to beat a dead horse, but if you are a new viewer, we have another game going on right now. That's LGD versus Jing Dong happening on the other stream. It was our first series of the day, which did have some tech issues. Now that's being covered by our Mandarin partners on Douyu and Panda. So if you want to catch the conclusion to that one, then absolutely tune in, but make sure to multi-stream because we'd like you to stay here as well.
Went to game 3, so going the distance. LGD, of course, taking game number 1. JD bit back with an MVP performance from Loken.
Yep.
And now it's going down to the wire. As meanwhile, we're only in game 1 between IG and Suning.
This one may be a little more clean cut, we would have to say. Invictus Gaming are definitely in the driver's seat here for us.
So again, what I was talking about is, for me, I really want to put the magnifying glass back on IG. Is it acceptable if IG struggled with this game? For me, as a top team, especially just coming off of an MSI win, so theoretically the strongest region right now or in this snapshot, I say no. They have to come in and they have to just smash Suning. And it hasn't been the case.
No, this hasn't been a smashing performance from Invictus Gaming, but they are setting up a bit of a death press, and they found Fen jumps away. Baolan now under attack, has to go into the unbreakable will here, as Xiao Ao wants to punish and wants to capitalize, but that is a big ultimate down for Invictus Gaming.
rinse and repeat. They're just looking for fishing. Suning they know that this is about the Baron. If they lose the next one, that will be the nail in the coffin. So they're grouped up. They're looking for their opportunities. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, and Suning, they've still got some life.
They're fishing and they've casted the line. There is a tug, but not really feeling this one. Chow Ao is a little too tanky, but here comes the teleport out from Rookie.
TP.
This is a deep teleport for us. Here comes Ning with the follow-up and putting them together. The Vanguard's edge is huge. Traps on 2, finds the first reset, moves on to the second. The rest of the team is routed, and Suning looking for damage control because they are scattering the Roaches right now. A triple kill to Rookie.
I mean, ultimately, we talked about how Suning were fishing, trying to look for any sort of opportunity, but it was Invictus Gaming who caught them. They recognized as soon as they were out of position, the deep TP came through, and that is going to be all she wrote for IG.
Yes, it is. 4 kills to Invictus Gaming as they are running it down the mid lane and in the best possible way. Only Xiao Ao here to defend, and there's 25 seconds on the death timers, 10 seconds left on Fury, and this is going to be it. Invictus Gaming, last chance saloon is not even going to show itself for Suning Gaming because they are going to collapse onto the towers. But before we do that, hey, maybe we can actually pat ourselves. Hey, no, actually, just get out of here, Xiao. I'm going to punt you away. Balance says get away from this one as they focus down onto the Nexus. This is the very last chance for Suning to try and make something happen. And while the knockup is good, that is all she wrote. Game 1 to Invictus Gaming.
And this game's interesting. I just feel like it's... I feel like it was a bit about the compositions. Suning Gaming, at some point in that game, were never going to win because their composition was going to never be able to impact Invictus Gaming. They needed to split up the map. IG kept forcing the play. So compliments, good read on IG, understanding exactly what their win conditions were and then executing on them. But still, Suning need to go back to the drawing board, and I don't think they're going to make this mistake again. If you were studying IG, if you were looking at the tape, you didn't expect the Yasuo to come out because they hadn't shown it this split yet. But we haven't seen IG for an entire week, and they just said, yep, 8-11, we're here and we're ready.
I mean, the counter on that is obviously how much more does the mid lane have? You know, that's the question. Hopefully, Janus can go ahead and break that down as we are about to send it over.
Thanks, guys, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Invictus Gaming, once again, proving that they are the strongest team in the league, even with Duke.
Yep. I'm just going to quickly answer Pulse's question right there. Yeah. What does he have aside from Aurelia and, what was the other one? Kassadin.
Yeah.
He has Taric, and he has Syndrome. Now, those go really far back, but he technically does have
the meta, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what it's going to be for Fen in the mid lane. But as you can see the draft on the bottom of your screen, he tried to take it to Rookie.
Yep.
He tried to take it to Rookie.
He definitely tried.
He did not succeed.
I actually want to say that even though Kassadin, I think, is a horrible pick in the current meta, picks that need to wait a long time and can't contest Scuttle early on, in general, are just very poor. Suning did the best that they possibly could with the composition. They had a very clear goal what they wanted to do. It was about picking people, is about splitting the map, just like Frostkern was talking about it during the cast. So, you know, I give props for making a one trick into the center of your composition. Sure. You did as well as you could with the lemonade, the lemon you were given, but it's
not exactly
not a
lemonade.
Fruit. Yeah, it's not a good fruit to start with. So, you know, and I think IG's comp, if you look here, this is what this meta is all about. It's about backline dive. You cannot prevent this from happening, and you can start it so fast that the AD carries really don't have a say in the game. Like the big mid lane fight, Kai'Sa wasn't at second item, and they had no executioner callings anywhere on the map either. So Duke pretty much just ran her down.
You kind of just walk. We'll get to that in a moment. Of course, we do have to start with the early game where IG tried to set the tempo early by diving that bottom tier 1. And initially things looked good once they saw their jungler on the other side of the map. Yep. But Suning were able to respond in time and actually defend that tier 1 dive and, in fact, turn it back on its head.
The play was really interesting because I thought it was a horrible play from Hacker to start it off, because Hacker was essentially showing himself when he did not have the paranoia, and he basically gave away his positioning. There was no kill threat in the top lane whatsoever anyway. But then IG followed up with something even worse. Now, there was a reason they wanted to go for it, and I do think that in terms of the execution, it could have been done. Yeah. But what needed to happen, we'll go through the replay on this, but what needed to happen was they actually needed to target Fury and not the Shen. So Yoon was able to survive the initial burst, flash out of it, and get out. But if you look at the tools and you look at the situation, I don't really think it was a terrible play.
Yeah.
I just think that once they couldn't
target selection wasn't very clear.
Yeah, once they couldn't get the target, they should have backed out immediately. They had the Aurelia coming down, beforehand, and they had their jungler first as well. So
yeah,
map-wise, it was okay.
We've kind of seen this problem from Invictus Gaming before. They don't have an easy time of letting go of the targets when they want to try to kill them, and sometimes that does lead them to overextend. Of course, that being said, sometimes that works in their favor. You were referring to that mid-game team fight as well, the one in which we saw the Ornhorn try to start the engage, and then JackieLove just, just denied it with the wind wall, and then IG decided to take the fight.
And if we look at this fight here, JackieLove even goes on the wrong target. He wanted to go for the Kai'Sa, but settles for the Ornn instead, doesn't get him. And initially, you could see the fight is actually pretty well set up onto Suning's side. They have the selection on which target they want to go to, but the HP bars on IG are simply not dropping. This is the power of the Bruiser composition, is that 80 carries marksman, they just don't have the items to contest you early on in the game. And
that feels so bad.
Yeah, it's just torture at that point. And also great props to Rookie right there. He actually cut off the entire fight, did not allow the Kai'Sa to follow up on the target because they were going full on onto the Taliyah, and that ultimate
Vanguard's
basically,
edge, to split them up. Of course, disarming the Kai'Sa is probably the best way to deal with it, because outside of that, she just has a Cathian Rain, Void Seeker, and then she stops herself from attacking, but if she's already disarmed, it doesn't matter. So there's not too much that you can really do.
She can't even go invisible, so that was that.
When you don't have the AP yet, or sorry, the attack speed yet. But still, it was a close attempt from Suning. They set the pace during the early game, though IG, as expected, with their mechanical abilities, were able to turn it back and win that mid-game T-fight. And from there, it was an easy setup for IG just to close out the rest of the game with that final fight that we saw. That being said, though, Suning still did a couple of things right. They seem to have... You seem confused by that statement.
I just don't know what you can do right when you have to pick a Kassadin.
Yeah.
It's like, what goes right after that?
It looked as though they were setting up for a scaling composition. They have the Kassadin Kai'Sa. Oh, the Kassadin and his daughter. Fun lore fact. It only just clicked with me now.
Take your child to work day.
Yeah.
That's great.
Jeez. Not a great day. I wanted to
fails
this
in front of the daughter.
But still, they had the Shen, they had the Nocturne to try to get them through that early game with the submarine composition, or at least the global dive setup. But that means that they need to set up that vision beforehand, and I think that started where we started to see a bit of the weakness for Shen.
Yeah, and that's what the thing I want to point out is that I felt like IG read the composition really well. They already saw the Shen and the Kassadin. They knew this was about picking people off. So what they did in the second ban phase was actually incredibly smart. They banned out all the split pushers from Xiaoao and said, you're not splitting us up. We're going to stay together. It's Kumbaya, and it's 5v5.
Yeah, and Duke will actually take our MVP, though he didn't have to worry too much about a split pusher. He got that Mundo, he got rolling, and he just casually walked onto Fury in that last replay that we just saw.
I think he gets the MVP because he wasn't part of that bot lane dive. That's the only reason he got the MVP, or else it should have went to JackieLove. I felt like JackieLove, the key plays that he made in the 5v5 team fights did start off the entire thing, but smart ban strategy to get Duke going, make sure that he's not going to be counterpicked at all, and not doing dumb things.
Yeah, to come back to the prediction that you mentioned a little bit earlier, you think this is going to be a 2-0 for Invictus Gaming. Again, they're the favorites to take this series. They're the favorites to head into playoffs, and it's only week 3 if they continue. Do you think Suning have a chance? And if they do, what's it going to be?
Not a chance in hell if it's Kassadin and Aurelia.
Whoa!
That's it.
Oh! Right to the heart, right to the meat of the matter. That's going to be it, though. We are done with game number 1. We're going to go take a quick 3-minute break while we get ready for game 2. Right.
这个夏天 ，IG 有太多东西需要证明，请大家拭目以待。